There's this little detail in a game called Sonic the Fighters that we find incredibly deep meaning in. A detail that made us realize Amy Rose is missing a crucial aspect that is necessary for defining her character and finally granting her a year of her own. A single aspect that they gave to Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and even most of the main cast decades ago, but never to her. Amy Rose is missing a rival. Sonic the Fighters, Sonic's first and last fighting game, inspired by Fighting Vipers, included a secret character that you all know and love, or don't know but will love, Honey the Cat. She could only be unlocked by hovering over Amy and pressing start. And that right there is our little detail that we can't help but put meaning into. The fact that in a fighting game, you have to hover over Amy Rose specifically to play as Honey. After looking into Honey, and becoming obsessed with her in the process, we truly believe that the spot for who would be Amy's perfect rival should belong to none other than Honey the Cat. But why does Amy even need a rival, and who the heck is Honey? To answer the first question, by making Amy the focus of an entire year, that means focusing more on her character, focusing on her as the protagonist for a change. And what is something that every great protagonist needs? A rival. Or more specifically, a character foil, a literary device in which you pair up characters that have contrasting morals, values, and personality traits that can help to highlight the flaws and qualities of each character. Think Batman and Joker, but also Batman and Superman. Each of these character dynamics have one thing in common. They've been given stories that put these characters at odds to help embellish and deepen the writing of each character. And so we need to give this to Amy Rose. Because, like we mentioned earlier, everyone else already has this. Tails and Eggman, Rouge and Knuckles, Silver and Mephiles, Dr. Starline and Eggman, Tangle and Whisper, Tails and Kit, possibly Belle and Sage, Omega and Gemerald, the Babylon Rogues and Team Sonic, Sonic and Shadow of course, Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic and Metal Sonic, Sonic and Blaze, Sonic and Surge. Wow, Sonic has a lot. But out of all the main cast of characters, Amy is seemingly left out. She's one of the OG Sonic characters, and yet there is no character to help highlight her defining traits and personality. No one to put her values into question, to challenge her ideals, to make Amy reflect on who she is as a person. This is especially important for a character like Amy, whose writing throughout the series as a whole has been criticized for being inconsistent or in some cases underwhelming. But giving her a character foil can help to give her structure and focus. And no, we aren't saying that this would immediately fix all the writing for her character. Sega still needs to make a decision on what they want to do with her. And it better not be to give her the straight up force again like she had in Frontiers with her tarot cards. Like, how did she go from just using them as a fun hobby to help her make some decisions, to becoming a master psychic manipulating her cards around like a Gambit and Marvel Rivals who just pops his ult and gets easy wins? Anyway, yeah, we should give playable Amy her hammer back. We miss it. But we digress. So a rival for Amy would be cool. But who the heck is Honey?
That would be me!
Honey the Cat, the high-spirited fashion designer who battles to promote her brand.
This dress is so yesterday. Get me the latest looks.
Are the wings on her back part of her costume, or are they real?
Isn't it marvelous?
Only she knows the truth.
Pretty ornaments will highlight your best features.
Honey was created and designed by Masahiro Sugiyama, solely for Sonic the Fighters. But due to her popularity, she also appeared in the Sonic Archie comics. And although these comics are not canon, and Sonic the Fighters is questionably canon, Honey the Cat herself is. Not only is she owned by Sega, unlike the other Archie characters, but thanks to the overwhelming fan requests, she made her official debut in Amy's 30th anniversary special IDW comic. Coupled with her inclusion in official Sonic Channel art, her canon status is confirmed. Honey the Cat is inspired by the character Honey from Fighting Vipers, in her design, personality, and background. This was approved by Sega and included in the official Sega Encyclopedia written by Ian Flynn. Like the original Honey, Honey the Cat is somewhat vain, mischievous, and loves putting on a show, putting self-promotion above all else, and fighting in tournaments solely for the sake of promoting her famous clothing brand and showing off her latest works and styles.
This is the trendiest color these days.
But in order to understand why Honey works so well as Amy's rival, we need a quick rundown on Amy's defining character traits, so that we have an idea on what sort of contrasting elements Honey can play off of. But let us know what you would love to see for a year of Amy. For us, it would be to give Amy a spin-off game, and a series of animated shorts created by the same studio that produced Shadow Dark Beginnings. We'd love to read your ideas down in the comments. Now back to it, Amy's personality. For starters, Amy is the most selfless person in the entire cast, save for maybe Cream, and will go out of her way to help anyone she can, purely out of the goodness of her heart. Yes, Sonic is the same way, but the difference is in their power. Sonic puts himself in harm's way for the sake of protecting others all the time, but he knows how much he can handle. Amy, on the other hand, is much less capable, and despite this, will still put herself in the same situations as Sonic and even Shadow, fighting against gods solely because she cares. That's what makes her so unique. She's just a regular girl without any special abilities. That's her whole deal in adventure. She's just an average girl shopping for groceries who only joins the adventure to reunite this flickie with its family. Along with her selflessness and just a normal girl aspects, she is also incredibly loving, compassionate, and probably the most trusting character, especially when it comes to antagonists, often even lending them a helping hand. Not because she's naive like Knuckles, but because she is always seeing the good in others, especially in those she can sense kindness from. This happens with Trip, Shadow, Silver, Gamma, and even Metal Sonic. Finally, she is completely free-spirited, relentless, and at times has a fiery temper. All that said, how would Honey be the perfect rival, perfect foil for someone like Amy? Well, Honey's somewhat selfish and vain nature
Looking pretty as always today.
pairs well with Amy's more selfless and modest personality.
I just wish we could do more to help.
Where Amy is truthful and prefers an honest and fair fight, Honey's mischievous mind wouldn't think twice about using her seemingly innocent demeanor as a means of manipulating her opponent to give herself the upper hand. Both are just regular girls with no special abilities, but while one is the more down-to-earth, ordinary kind of girl,
Ooh, so many shops, so many options.
the other is the famous show-stealer celebrity who aims for making a good impression for others to adore.
My performance is irresistible.
Aside from their differences, both wield a fiery spirit and both have a love for apparel.
This begs for a new dress. Yay!
They are also kind, great at communication, and get along well with others thanks to their friendly and charismatic nature. Their differences and similarities can make Honey and Amy both great friends and at times amusing rivals. Aside from their personalities, Honey also adds a perfect dynamic for the already established rivalry between Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles and Fang's gang. As far as classic-era rivalries go, these three are the first that come to mind. Sonic's heroism versus Fang's greed, Tails' brilliance versus Bean's crazy, and Knuckles' protective nature versus Bark's misguided delinquency. But it all leaves Amy, the fourth member of the main crew, left out, unless you add in Honey. Bean, Bark, and Honey were all introduced in Sonic the Fighters, and we aren't the only ones who find the potential dynamic between Honey and Fang's gang to be very intriguing. For instance, in the Ian Flynn Q&A May 25th, 2024 Bumblecast, a fan with the same idea asks him this.
Here's a question from the Hobgoblin. If the classic comics could use Honey, which would be more fun, Amy's best friend who makes her outfits or Amy's rival who hangs out with Fang's gang? I don't think I like evil Honey.
Well, not evil. Because
Okay.
remember, Bark hangs out with them too, and he's not evil.
Well, yeah, but he still does bad stuff for Fang.
He does it for the challenge, which would be right up Honey's alley. Maybe she's trying to whip these boys into shape.
I guess.
You want to be premier villains? Well, you gotta add some razzle-dazzle to this. Come on. What is with that ascot? It's a bandana. It could be more stylish. And really, winter wear in the middle of summer, you need to accessorize. She does like the hat, though. Definitely goes with the hunter motif. And the belt, minimalistic, but effective. Fang gets a pass.
Okay.
You know, if she's not evil, if she's just kind of there because it's fun, and they're like the hard luck case that she's trying to build up, that could be fun.
Honey would be a close friend of Amy's, just two girls having fun who love each other's company,
We should go on a picnic. Yeah.
but can also at times be at odds with one another.
That sounds like a terrible idea.
Where are your manners?
Imagine a game where Amy Rose and Honey the Cat are the protagonist and antagonist respectively. The plot consists of someone like Dodonpa enlisting the help of the young heroes to stop Eggman's schemes, in which he will pay them handsomely for. Honey jumps at the chance to assist in order to use the funds to help promote her brand, while Amy sees that as a waste and would rather use the money to help others in need. The two set off to complete the task with the goal of beating the other to earn the money first.
I'm here to outplay you.
Funny. I was about to say the same to you.
Amy for the purpose of donating it, and Honey for her own profile-raising desires. They race against each other,
Get out of my way.
Hey, watch it!
and at times even work together.
Did I help?
We both did great. Nice job.
I did!
In the end, Honey, thanks to Amy, learns a lesson of compassion and how good it can feel to give others the spotlight, even opting to take no credit for her helping to save the day in order to give Amy the praise she believes Amy deserves, which in turn teaches Amy, thanks to Honey, to be more considerate with her own desires, teaching her that it's okay to be a little greedy every now and then, and that it's important to think of yourself just as much as you think of others. In the end, Honey agrees to donate all of the money, exclaiming that her now attained goodwill with Dodonpa will surely pave the way for future brand deals. But when Dodonpa reveals just how much money he was planning to reward them with,
Weren't we supposed to make a donation?
Maybe.
at the end of the day, no one needs convincing that Amy Rose deserves a year of her own like Shadow got. I mean, Izuka basically confirmed this. And although the developers of Sonic the Fighters using Amy as a tool for unlocking Honey the Cat is just a tiny detail that may not mean anything, we couldn't help but find a deeper meaning in the potential relationship that Honey and Amy could have. To us, they could really add an interesting dynamic to this franchise. And besides, using a year of Amy to bring Honey into the modern day games would be super poetic, as the first and only time Honey's ever been playable was thanks to hovering over Amy herself and pressing start.